Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I tell you, I've been a big advocate of PEOs for quite some time. They make so much sense. Professional employee organizations can really help businesses focus on their real interest, which is making money and not being saddled with the hassle of, dealing with employee issues that seems to be the case in this arena. I'm going to spend some time with Naples HR and Lindsey Gardner with that organization. Welcome to the program today. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and Naples HR.
Sure. So I'm an HR consultant, and I'm also an industrial psychologist. So I provide on-call HR consulting for the state of Florida, and I also contract my services out to a number of PEOs. So I'm very familiar with their business as an employer and also as an employee.
What is the, first of all, how many employees as a PEO does Genesis have?
It really depends on the number of employees their clients have. So right now, I would say our average is a couple hundred at any given time, maybe 300. But the great thing is once the administrative employer continues hiring, our numbers go up as well. So we want our businesses to grow because that helps our businesses grow as well.
So Genesis is relatively small as far as the PEOs go.
It is, and they only will sell their PEO services in the state of Florida. Some other companies that are huge names in the industry, TriNet, for example, Jevity, they are nationwide. The issue with that becomes you're a little bit more of a vendor relationship at that point. And so at that point, there's not a huge difference between just submitting your weekly or biweekly payroll and a true PEO relationship where the vendor is a partner. So they're there with all of your HR needs, all of your compliance needs. Let's say you get an unemployment claim or there's a worksite injury. It's a lot more of a partnership when you find a PEO that works on a small scale. Yeah,
that's interesting. So tell us a little bit about PEOs. What do people need to know?
Well, I think the biggest misconception is that people confuse PEOs with staffing agencies, and it's not the same at all. A professional employer organization, a synonym for that would be employee leasing, and you're only leasing employees on an administrative basis. So you are the on-site employer. You hire, fire, manage at will. None of your operations change, except you're outsourcing all of the compliance and paperwork activities related to payroll, those associated taxes, unemployment, workers' comp, and any other ancillary HR needs that you have. So your PEO will become your administrative employer of your employees, but you remain in total control of your on-site management.
Interesting. What is the some of the things that people need to be aware of? What questions should they be asking in choosing a PEO?
I think the biggest thing that they need to ask is, will you have the same payroll processor each payroll cycle? Any sort of unique needs that you might have? Do you pay your employees bonuses? Do you pay your employees commissions or piecework, and can they handle that? The reason that I mentioned the processor is just because you develop a very close relationship with a person that you're working with week after week after week. And if that person is in a call center or if they're continuously changing, it doesn't necessarily mean that person isn't qualified, but it becomes very difficult to guarantee that you've had consistent high-quality service for someone who really, truly knows your business. I would also recommend that they ask what other services are included with that PEO contract or PEO agreement. So in some cases, what that company is doing for you is not very different from any other payroll processor. And in that case, you can save a lot more money by just using ADP or your bank or cutting checks yourself. If you're getting
You suggest an a la carte approach rather than the, you're paying this amount, you're getting tons of services, including some you don't won't end up using, which some of the bigger PEOs are famous for that. What's your thoughts about that?
I'm okay with a la carte pricing as long as it makes sense for the client. If there's a high or completely ridiculous fee for filing a workers' comp claim, for example, or if they're going to charge you hourly for basic HR services, like helping with your I-9s or unemployment claims, that's something that would be considered really unreasonable, especially because it's almost guaranteed that your PEO is going to be building in an administrative fee into the rate that they're charging you. So a business owner really needs to use their best judgment. But if all you're getting is payroll processing, I would say there's probably something very wrong with that relationship.
Lindsey, got to wrap it up. Lindsey Gardner, she's with NaplesHR.com, NaplesHR.com, and also with Genesis PEO. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate your time.
When we come back, more for you right here on The Price of Business.